Hello everybody, hello, and welcome to my channel. Welcome, my name is Alex R. What's up? Welcome. For the past 24 hours I've been intellectually cooking, if you will, over baking myself in the oven at 350, and I'm now completely crispy and burnt. And I've reached no conclusions, or I will say I haven't reached conclusions, new ones, about what I'm thinking about specifically. I've only just realized that there's nothing else. There isn't anything else. I've wondered if I read books, because there's a certain type of adventure that I can't go on in my life. So, right here in the frame, I'll show you. This is the box set of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, which is some of my favorite books of all time. I love Harry Potter as well, but there's something very distinct about Lord of the Rings, and I think it's that they go on a physical adventure, a physical journey. It's a classic hero's journey story, and it's very physical, right? The world of Harry Potter, our protagonists are going on a different adventure in every book, but typically their destination is within the castle, or the drama comes from the tension in the character dynamics, while in this series the dangers of the story come from the landscape. They come from this kind of good versus evil that plays out on a geographic scale, and I really like that. I also read tales of sea adventures. It's one of my favorite genres. And I've been wondering to myself lately, like, these stories, am I accessing them and enjoying them so much because I'm living through them? Because what they offer is impossible for me, or maybe even you, maybe even anybody, to obtain right now. And I thought of something about adventure. Can I go on an adventure like Bilbo Baggins, even Harry Potter? Can I go on an adventure? And I remembered something. It's called the Adventurer's Guarantee, and it was offered to me at California Pizza Kitchen when my girlfriend and I adventured to California Pizza Kitchen, as we do in this modern society, and we ordered a buffalo chicken pizza. The waiter kindly reminded us that that's a bold choice, chicken barbecue, and not to worry though, because they have the Adventurer's Guarantee. If that barbecue chicken is a little too flavorful, a little too weird and freaky, with the Adventurer's Guarantee, if you don't like it, they will replace it with a cheese or a pepperoni. You can afford to take the risk because they got your back. You're an adventurer of flavor. You're a culinary explorer. And don't worry, you can have a cheese if you want. My point is, in this story, is I think that's the closest I've gotten to an adventure. You know, I'm not wielding a sword and getting in touch with my inner self, but I am eating pizza in California Pizza Kitchen. And that's kind of the contemporary adventure, isn't it? It's going to the mall and getting a coffee. And I've been thinking about that. And I've been thinking about a few things. This is what I mean by overbaking. I'm going to tell you everything I've been stewing on. Number one, the adventure is guaranteed, and that I can go on consumer adventures. Consumer adventures. The second thing is the way that we most commonly understand what we should want contemporary adventure to look like is travel and vacation. Travel and vacation. We're supposed to want travel and vacation. And then I'm thinking about two other things. The third thing is that people being squirted with water guns in Barcelona, Spain. Being squirted with water guns in Spain. And the kind of movement, kind of anti-tourist attitudes that are springing up. So I've been thinking about we can only have consumer adventures. We're supposed to want to travel, and many of us do want to see the world, and that's kind of the best contemporary adventure you can have. But there are also people who don't mind if you go on vacation, they just don't want you to go there where they live. And so tourism now has kind of a stigma and kind of a privilege that's hard to deal with. Okay, that's happening. And then the fourth thing I'm thinking about, the absolute devastation of all human migration and travel since the beginning of recorded history, even further back, since the first human beings on planet Earth. All evidence of human movement and mobility has come with extreme ecological disaster. And plus, a lot of us don't have the means to be able to travel and see the world, and don't have lives that open us up to adventure to begin with. So you can see all the ingredients in this stew are making me say, and making me think. And I thought about adventure, on one hand, for me, is something unattainable. It lives in fantasy. It lives in incredible, epic tales of history. And adventure, probably for most human beings, apart from nomadic bands of humans who walked the earth and went in search of like a new place to live, adventure for most people, since the invention of agriculture and settling down, is also unattainable. That pretty early on we built structures that pinned us down into a physical location and an economic role that's pretty unforgiving, and you can't really easily exit. And if it was hard to do that in the 1800s, it's harder now. Like, you can't go build a house in the woods. You cannot forage. There are laws that say that you, an animal, cannot forage for food in certain areas. You cannot hunt whatever you want. You cannot eat. You can't just sell food on the street. You can't just cook something and then sell it. You don't have a permit. The thought of being able to walk into Canada as an American, or walk into Mexico, I can't just do that. You need a passport for that. And then you need money. So, like, buy the passport. So, my point is, I came to the conclusion that adventure, I think not just for our time, but for maybe all time, is an elusive concept. Because adventure comes with high risk, very high risk of death, disease, illness, violence. And so we've kind of come to a sanitized version of that with holiday and vacation, which is unattainable for a lot of people. So, adventure lies in the everyday, domestic, kind of mystical realm of your 24 hours in a day. And that's really how I relate to adventure. So, the California Pizza Kitchen. My girlfriend and I, we went out and went to this restaurant, ironically, and it was very good. And we tried this pizza. Alright, we went on this adventure. It was a capitalist adventure. But that's really how I'm adventuring, so I have to be honest about that. That's kind of what novelty and newness looks like in my life a lot of the time, is going out and exploring commercially my local geographic area. I also recognize that going on an adventure like that adds so much to my life. It makes me feel connected to people, it makes me happy. I get to spend quality time with my partner, or if I go out with my friends, I get to feel that like quality time with them. But I think as I've reflected on this, there are a lot of other ways that I am adventuring, including reading about adventure. I'm reading about the history of human beings. I'm reading about our great explorations. And I'm just reading fiction, and I'm inhabiting new worlds, going to new places, and doing new things. So, here's what a kind of loop that I came away with that actually makes me feel very positive, and I feel like is responsible for me being a mostly positive person who is happy to like do things. And that is, the way that I'm adventuring now is by curating what I ingest. So I read things that kind of inspire me, and I connect with media. And I'm transporting myself into fiction, into nonfiction, as a way of kind of building my identity and allowing myself to expand. And that is kind of the fundamental center of adventure, is that you're allowing yourself to expand. Fiction can do that, media can do that. I think there's this idea that like just sitting on a couch and reading a book is not an adventure, or playing a video game. You're supposed to go out of your house. I think that's true to a degree, but only in saying that if you do one all the time, it's unbalanced. But I think most people intuitively feel this sense of being in the middle, right? Like, if adventuring is expanding yourself into the world, allowing yourself to grow, you can have this arc of consuming content and expanding your sense of self into the world of fiction and myth. And then you can take that and have real world experiences. And if your adventure is like, you're gonna go be a marine biologist and go out on a boat and be in the lab and study fish, like, that's an adventure. If your adventure looks like you're saved up your money, you're taking a trip to Italy, that's your adventure. If your adventure is like, I'm gonna go to this event where I don't know anyone, I want to talk to somebody, that's your adventure. And you've got this like ring of just constantly allowing yourself to expand, partly through media and reading books, and partly through taking that growth into your real life, sharing it with people, building relationships, and having new experiences. And that's a basic idea. That's like an old idea. And I kind of realized that I don't think in the past human beings, I mean, unless we're talking nomadic hunter-gatherers. Human beings, we've not adventured on a large scale. If you're in the military, you're likely to travel, but most people were peasants. Most people were very poor and lived their entire lives in one geographic area. I think people probably, I don't know, travel more now than they ever used to commercially. But I think it's been the vast majority of contemporary life, like post-agricultural life, that we live pretty sedentary lives in one town, and your adventure and your life arc happens in a really confined circumstance, which a lot of us still find ourselves in. A job, a house that we own or that we rent, and just kind of the same town. We're always in the same town. An adventure has to happen in this like wave function, a kind of like pendulum, or a circle. We're ingesting content. We are expanding ourselves intellectually and emotionally in music and whatever have you. And then we're out in the world and we're like making things happen and talking to people and doing things and trying to go on an adventure that makes sense in our lives. I also think the following, and that is, if adventure is expanding the self into the external world such that the two inform each other, then there's really no limit on the degree to which you can adventure. There's no limit. The scale is infinite. And if you think about adventure, in Harry Potter, in Lord of the Rings, adventure comes at great cost. And I mentioned earlier, like, adventure usually means a risk. Because when you expand yourself, you open yourself up to injury. That's like emotional, psychic, or physical injury. In today's world, you can expand yourself as far as you want to, informationally, with the internet, right? Like, we still live in these kind of smaller physical worlds, like the world of our job, our house. But the world of ideas and content is infinite and very large. I think making this ASMR channel has been a huge adventure for me, a massive adventure into territory that I don't quite understand. I don't know if many people do, which is the connectedness of people on the internet. How the algorithm propels me there. That's my like little boat. I don't even understand the boat that is sailing me to you. I don't understand that vessel at all, but I'm in it. I am being delivered to destinations I cannot see, but I know they're destinations because I feel the consequence of when you make contact with something new and novel. And so I feel like this is an adventure. I'm going on an adventure. I wake up and I could go out, I could do anything. I come here and I talk to you, and I love it. It's the best. It's like the best adventure I'm going on right now is this ASMR adventure. I love it. It adds so much joy to my life. It's great. It comes with risks. Sometimes I get a weird comment. I'm very thankful I don't have big haters, but I get a weird comment, right? It opens me up to that anyway, whether it happens or not. It opens me up to the beauty of the internet and the absolute horrors of the internet. So that's what it is. That's this adventure. And there are so many ways I could expand myself. If I wanted to make a TikTok, I could do that, right? And I think in the world of ideas and reading, you can really go take an adventure into a political ideology you might not understand, I've taken some interesting adventures on Reddit, and I've tried to like inhabit and learn about ideas that don't immediately sit right with me, and you expand yourself that way. You like grow, like in a big brain, go out there and learn about people who are different from you and talk to people. So I think an adventurous spirit is a positive one, because it's open. You're a visitor. When you're adventuring, you're a visitor. Everything else has the upper hand. The landscape, the locals, everything has an upper hand, and you have to keep your wits about you. And I think having that adventurous spirit, whether you're going to California Pizza Kitchen and ordering something new that you've never had, or you're going to try and figure out why like an entire group of people is different from you. You have to kind of go in with this openness that is part of the adventurous spirit, and a kind of positivity that I think that mindset adds a lot to life, and it adds a lot to my life. I think too, you get into this slump of like, I'm not free, right? For all the reasons I've already said. Like, you can't just build your own house, hunt your own food, and start your own business. The government, you're gonna have to jump through a million, billion hoops to do all that stuff. And you can get in this slump of like, I'm not free. But one of the biggest adventures in this life is absolutely scheming your way through that. Is absolutely trying to scheme and trying to imagine something better, and wanting something better, and helping other people get something that's better. Cliche or not, so I'm telling you, I overbaked this one. But like, all of life is the adventure. And if you adopt some of those adventurous traits, it adds so much joy and possibility into life, and into that feeling of like, I am in certain conditions now, but those might change, and they probably will change, and people change, and society moves like lightning. Things change all the time like lightning, and that, I'm a part of that, and you're a part of that. So all this to say, I had a crisis about the nature of adventure. I thought to myself, I'm so frustrated, I'm so stuck in my life, I'm not going on any adventures. And then I realized, because of California Pizza Kitchen and barbecue chicken pizza, that all those micro ways we have adventures are not cliche, they're very real. But I think adventuring as a person in this world is a lot larger of a concept than just getting on a boat or a plane or doing any of that. It's like the walks you take every day. It's the people you talk to every day. It's the way you talk to yourself and relate to yourself. It's if you're open to letting things, are you open to letting things affect you, or are you really closed off? Like, do you protect yourself from other people, from the world, or are you open? And how open can you be? How far can you get? I don't know. That's the fun of it. That's the danger of it. And that's the fun of it. That's an adventure. High risk, high reward. That's life. And it's the best. It's the best trip you can go on. Is the one you're in right now. Okay. I've been cooking on that one for 24 hours. I've been like, what does it all mean? It's chill. We're good. That was it for this video. I just wanted to talk about something that's really been on my mind. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And adventuring is it's the best thing, and everybody loves it. Like, when you get to go to a new town, when you get to like dip out of your rat race life, you're like, this is amazing. So like, I love going on an adventure. Everybody loves adventuring, and trying to bring some of that into the rat race, into your ability to move and have mobility, I think is really important. And it's a good trait to have, adventurous traits. Just expanding yourself, like tapping up against those things that kind of confine us as people, and like test the boundaries, see if we're really as locked in as we think, in ways that we are, like critically talking about it, in ways that we are not, like go bust through the wall. Don't limit yourself. That is it for this ramble. I hope it made sense. I have no idea. Actually, I have no clue. But I hope it was engaging anyway. It's an adventure. This video is an adventure. And I really appreciate you being on it with me 1,000%. I love it. Who knows how the internet works? You know what I mean? Like, how are you seeing anything that you're seeing? I don't know. I really don't know how this is being facilitated, but it's great. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I really value your company in all of our interactions. I love it here, and yeah, we're gonna keep it going. So I will be back with another video very soon, and I really hope to see you there. I really do. And I hope that you have a good day or good night wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Whatever obligation you have, whatever adventure you're going on, I hope that you're well.